matrix, so it has a thick layer.
Mm-hmm.
Then we apply methylene blue on top, also in the solution. And we treat these two experimental setting daily. And we wait for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. That's how experiment go. As long as we can see the cells are still alive. So what did we find? In the 2017, the scientific report we published, at that time, we reported a bunch of things, expected and unexpected, because the reason we did it, as I mentioned, was from the progeria study. So we know there are some benefits. After the methylene blue treats the normal cells from healthy people, so the cell proliferation is increased. So the cells, they delay the cellular senescence. It's the same set of the cells. They are proliferating and they live longer. They die later because our skin is constantly under UV radiation. So it has a lot of reactive oxygen species in our skin. We have an assay to measure the reactive oxygen species in the skin cells. And what we found is after you treat with methylene blue, this level reduced significantly.
And would that be described in marketing terms as reducing oxidative stress or something like that? Is that the same?
It's the same, yeah. Or sometimes people say antioxidants, or they can say reduce the cellular stress, because that's a huge stress to cell health, well-being. Because of the cells are happier, so they produce more collagen, elastin, and it also can hold water. So it improved the hydration. And we know the mitochondrial activity, because the methylene blue is a mitochondrial drug, the cells has more energy to fight different disease. And actually, in the end, the cells, we didn't do all the assays, but we checked the wound healing. Basically, you cut the skin tissue, and then you look at the recovery. And we found that the cells treated with methylene blue, the samples, they recover much faster. What we found was very surprising to us, like all these benefits we didn't even know. Then we published the paper, and which was a big disruptor to the industry. And my lab was like people called my lab. I didn't even have a company or anything at that moment.
So what kind of people were calling? People who wanted just to buy it and start using it? Or were you getting calls from dermatologists and so on saying, I want to find out more about this?
At that time, it was two types of people were calling. One is customers. I still remember one saying, come on, I'm already 76.
I don't have time for this.
I know, just develop a cream. And the other set are like the industry or reporters.
Well, listen, anything new and we're all suckered on, absolutely. Whenever we get studies like this, and this is what I've come to realize, over the years of sort of exploring skincare in greater depth, people get very excited about these advances. And I think that sometimes their expectation, I talk a lot about peptides on this channel, and but I think that people's expectation sometimes outpaces the skincare itself. I mean, realistically, what do you think that people who were using one of the creams every day could expect to see over what period of time?
In our experiment, the methylene blue has the effect of delay cellular aging. So we did it for 100 days. In my view, as a scientist, what methylene blue does is to delay aging, but it does not do something magically like overnight and change an old cell to a young. So it just make your cells happier, live longer. And so we all have a limited amount of stem cell, especially for our skin, but the pool of that amount is limited. And as we age, they also get aged too, so they may not be able to produce more and more cells. That's why we experience the thinning of the skin. So what methylene blue is doing is to prolong the usage of your current cells. But on the other hand, we started to see the effect relatively earlier, even within days or within the first or second week. But the longer you use it, the better the effect you can see.
And you were talking before about things like improved hydration. Anything other visible in the skin, do you think?
When the hydration is improved and the elastin and the collagens are produced, you will see a reduce of wrinkling. So overall, I want to emphasize is what methylene blue is doing is to make your skin healthier. So it is also very gentle on the skin. So it is not like a retinol. So
yeah, I have to say I use it with a retinol. I use a retinaldehyde every second day. And I do find that they complement each other quite nicely. But likening it to a retinoid is an interesting one because it's a different mechanism. Why do you think that they're worth comparing?
retinol is doing something very differently from methylene blue. So we wanted to check. Actually, we published it side by side. We use vitamin A. Most of the retinols are the derivatives of vitamin A. Yeah. We use vitamin A in our system and to check what's happening if we treat with vitamin A, and side by side also treat with methylene blue. So what does retinol do is to accelerate skin turnover.
That's right.
So if you have some damaged cells, it will remove it and allow the new cells to be produced. And the new or younger cells obviously will be able to carry more functions. They will produce more collagen, produce more elastin. So we'll give you immediate boost of your skin experience, like appearance of your skin. But on the other hand, retinol also being, I think everybody knows, can be harsh on sensitive skin because you are already under the stress of running out of your stem cells or progenitor cells. They are just working really hard to making more and more cells already, but you just keep removing the top layers, and there is a lot of stress on those type of cells. There is a fine balance. Sometimes the damaged cells just cannot be repaired, or even with adding a ton of methylene blue. I don't suggest to do so, but it just cannot be rescued. Retinol can be very helpful just to remove them and allow the new skin to grow and to take that space. But on the other hand, if you still have some gently damaged, let's say, skin, and you may want to use methylene blue to recover it and to renew it and let it to grow, use it for a little bit longer. It's a fine balance.
Well, I'm wondering, what do you think that balance is? I mean, what's your own skincare routine? Do you avoid retinoids altogether?
Yes.
Okay. It was interesting because I've had a lot of debate around retinoids on this channel. I've found myself in hot water on one occasion for daring to question it. I still just don't know how to get my head around it, because we are told this is the thing to do for anti-aging, and I think, well, is it putting my skin under too much stress? Should I be going for another option? What's your take?
I guess that's the future, right? The personalized skincare or personalized medicine. Everybody is different. For example, my skin, it has been okay. I would say it doesn't have a lot of problems. So, and I am a scientist. I'm not really in beauty business. So I have a very simple routine, and I only spend like 2 minutes in the morning on my skin, and maybe another 2 minutes at night. So I want things simple, straightforward, and that's it. So what I do is all methylene blue. At the same time, in our skincare line, BlueLin, we have not only methylene blue, we also have other active ingredients that will help those present skin cells to look plumpier. And we have vitamin C, for example, and we different, like our product have different addition, so to carry out the different functions.
Well, who knows where we'll be in 10 years? I often wonder, in 10, 20 years' time, will retinoids still be considered a gold standard or not? It's fascinating. And as you say, maybe it's more about personalised skincare. We have our skin analysed and we find out what we need. And that's the difficult thing for consumers at the moment, is that we're not really sure what we need, and we sort of watch what other people are doing who've got amazing skin, and we try what they're trying, and that doesn't work so well for us. And it really is a case of just trying different products at different frequencies as well. I wanted to ask about methylene blue as a sunscreen, which is very interesting, because I have just literally been talking to a dermatologist about sunscreen safety. on the channel, and you know, the different filters and how they're being analyzed by the FDA at the moment, because we know that some of the chemical filters can get into the bloodstream. How does methylene blue work as a sunscreen, and can it work on its own, or does it have to be used alongside another filter?
So we also recently in 2021 published a paper about methylene blue's ability as an active sunscreen ingredient in Nature Scientific Report. The punchlines of that research, the first one is because of our skin constantly under UVA and UVB exposure. UVA does not cause the damage to our DNA because it's a longer wavelength. It goes deeper into our skin tissue and fibroblasts, and it increase a lot of reactive oxygen species in our skin tissue. And our methylene blue, we know it's an antioxidant. It's going to recover that. And this is an area not many other sunscreen products pay attention to, because FDA only measures SPF. SPF is a factor for skin burn, which is towards UVB, which is a much shorter wavelength, much higher energy UV rays that are going to burn your skin, damage your skin. Instead of UVA, you may feel it. It's good for you sometimes, but you don't want to have it too much.
Yeah.
And the methylene blue is functioning as an antioxidant in that case to neutralize some type of UVA. Number two, what we did is we compared side by side. Again, I do not speak without any research data. So side by side of oxybenzone, which is most popular, 85% of the chemical sunscreen market use oxybenzone as a key ingredient. So we added oxybenzone in one and the methylene blue in two, and we measured their UV absorption rate throughout scanning through all the wavelengths. And what we have found is methylene blue has a similar ability to absorb UVB as oxybenzone at the same concentration. So depending on which one you use, they are almost identical. And the methylene blue actually has a much stronger UVA absorption than oxybenzone. In this case, we would like to suggest it has the absorption as the chemical, like the main character, the oxybenzone. But on the other hand, as you mentioned, the toxic, like oxybenzone, there was a study which concerned me a lot. I think you mentioned you have kids, me too, and both of my kids play soccer. They've been on the field maybe throughout the year, and they always use sunscreen when they're on the field. And a study found 90% of the teenager boys in their urines have oxybenzone.
Ooh, right, okay. Yeah, I mean, what we don't know is if that is harmful to them. That's the thing we've to find out, isn't it? We don't know if that's harmful or not.
Yeah, so they can actually come through your body, and at least they are released out, but they actually get absorbed in. That's kind of concerning. But on the other hand, there are many coastal cities, they ban oxybenzone usage. Why? Because they found oxybenzone can actually if you swim, the oxybenzone gets off from you, but they get to the coral reefs in the ocean and be harmful to them. To answer that question, I want to say, the reason we did the study mostly was for that. I actually had to build a coral farm to study that question.
You had to what? A coral farm?
Yeah, in my laboratory. So we had actually corals side by side. Then in the little chamber, some of them treated with oxybenzone, some of them treated with methylene blue. As you probably know, methylene blue has been used as an aquarium cleaner for many years. Like you just squeeze in and your fish feels happier because of the aquarium is cleaner and the bacteria are killed, and the fish, it also helps the baby fish wound healing process. So we did that with the medical grade methylene blue and oxybenzone, and only in 3 days the corals being treated with oxybenzone just died. Methylene blue, we treated for weeks. There was nothing. And the coral, it puffs, it breathes. They are very happy. So in that case, we know methylene blue does not harm.
Yeah.
Maybe it's beneficial, but I do not know how to make it.
Yes.
So in your sunscreen, though, you have added a physical filter. Is that right? Is that just for safety's sake to be 100% sure that you are screening out everything you need to screen out?
Methylene blue is not accepted as sunscreen active by FDA at the moment. So in order to claim a SPF, we have to add some FDA approved sunscreen actives. In that case, we added a zinc oxide, which has been shown to be a very safe ingredient and it doesn't do much to the environment. So that's why we did that.
Yeah, oh, that's really interesting. Now, toxicity, last question. We talked about that in sunscreen, how we know that some sunscreen filters can be absorbed into the blood. The same is probably true of methylene blue, is that right? And what's that balance? Are you concerned about toxicity? Say we were using it all over our body in a sunscreen. Is there a potential risk there?
Because methylene blue has been approved by FDA as a drug, so there are a ton of toxicology studies available. We hired an independent consulting company and did the literature surveys on all the available pharmacological data of methylene blue intake orally and everything else, potential like in animals, in humans. So the conclusion is the permissible, what they call daily exposure of methylene blue on top of your skin is in the range of milligrams. And what we are using is in the range of 0.something micrograms. So it's at least 100 or 200-fold lower. If you apply all over your body, there is minimal risk. You are like 100-fold away from like the permissible daily exposure. So in that case, there is no risk. But I do want to say a few things about the safety.
Sure.
I know people sometimes will intake methylene blue orally as a mind clearance, because methylene blue being shown to be in the phase 2 clinical trial for Alzheimer's disease, and there are other added benefit of methylene blue. So I know that there are people taking that. So while we know we have very, very little amount of methylene blue in our products, but the oral intake, I see the dosage amount is about milligrams. So do your own research and to find out whether it's a good amount. Are you taking too much? Second is methylene blue is not a natural product. It's a synthetic chemical. We all know in the production, there will be some side product in chemical reactions. So the purity of methylene blue is very important. The products we have, Blueling, we use the medical grade methylene blue, which is very, very pure. But if you use the methylene blue you ordered from Amazon, for example, they can be something for aquarium. So do not use that because you do not know what are the other contaminants inside the product. This always worries me when I see discussions on forums say, can I make my own skincare products? How much should I add? Yeah,
you can never be too sure. Know your source, at least. Know where it's sourced from and exactly what's in it. Yeah. If they're making it themselves, choose the medical grade stuff. That is really helpful. I mean, I'm going to continue using it, and I think I'm going to get myself the sunscreen now based on this conversation as well. So thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you for inviting me.
I hope you found that interview helpful. Having used Blueling daily for several months now, I can tell you that as with every other anti-aging product I've tried, it's not a miracle worker, it's not erased my heavier lines, but I'm enjoying using it in my skincare mix because of its protective and hydrating effects. And just having well-hydrated skin can take years off the way it looks. I believe my current skincare mix is having a visible impact on my skin in terms of keeping it healthy, clear, balanced and bright, and I'm the happiest with my skin right now.